welcome back to our program, Hollywood Structured. As some of you already know, our program is designed to help the young people who wish to enter the entertainment field, maybe music, nightclub work, stage, television, or film. It is also designed to help the parents and the educators of those young people to make them understand their wants, their needs, and the pitfalls and the traps they may fall into unless thoroughly acquainted with the inner workings of Hollywood. Today, as our special guest, we have someone who was a Boy Scout as a boy, who wanted to be a forest ranger, wanted to live and work outdoors, in the great outdoors. Well, something happened along the way, because he's not a forest ranger, he's not working in the great outdoors. He belongs to that category of fascinating people in the film industry called special effects men. His name is Arthur James Thrasher, better known to his friends as A.J. Thrasher. Hello, A.J.
Afternoon, Lilyan. How are you? Thank you.
Nice to be here with you. Before A.J. shares his expertise, which are many, and his experiences with us, I would like to speak to you today about something that all of our guests have mentioned. Something that, if you wish to enter the entertainment field, you all should have. That second job. Because you may have that burning desire of entering the entertainment field, but right next to this is something called survival. How do you survive until that first paycheck that comes from the entertainment field? I mean, some people become waiters when they arrive in Hollywood, or waitresses, or delivery person. Actually, delivery person is pretty good because you're in a car and you can stop at an audition and nobody will know about it. They become gophers, they become many different things. So I was curious, and I went back over the list of our guests. And I thought, maybe there is a common link in there. And even though all of them did not particularly care for all the subjects in school, there was always one thing that fascinated them, and or one subject, and or one hobby. Let me give you some example, because I found it fascinating. There was a young boy who was a good swimmer who thought he was going to the Olympics, and who in school also worked on the paper with a little baby camera, you know, around campus. When he arrived in Hollywood, because he was a good swimmer, he became a scuba diver, and he made money that way to sustain himself. Pretty soon he was asked to photograph underwater, and this is now his regular job. Another person was an artist and was painting, was drawing in school, and was very good at it. When he arrived in Hollywood, couldn't find a job, so he started to paint houses, walls, sceneries, and he is a very well-known set designer right now. Another person in school loved math. When she arrived in Hollywood, she became an accountant in a business firm. She's now a producer. Another one, a young girl, was very good at sports. When she arrived in Hollywood, she started doing commercials, but there were little stunts in the commercial. She's now a well-known stunt woman. Another one was very good on the debating team in college. When he arrived in Hollywood, he started to write speeches for a politician. He is now a very well-known executive producer. Another one was a reader, loved to devour books, loved English. When she arrived in Hollywood, she worked for a literary agency, reading scripts. She is now a literary agent. One didn't particularly care for school, loved to drive fast. When he arrived in Hollywood, he worked as a taxi driver, and he's now head of transportation in one of the biggest studios here. Another one was interested in geography, became a steward, and is now a location manager. Another one, a girl, was interested in research, of reading and researching. She arrived in Hollywood, went to work as a researcher for a library, and she is now a filmmaker for documentary. So they all seem to have, as you can see, the little interest, the little thing that they were best at in school helped them open a door. They all wanted to be actors. They are not actors, but they have found a niche, something which they enjoy, which provides them with a very good income. So, what I'm trying to say to you is try to find something in school, a hobby or a subject that you like, and try to be the best at it. Not just adequate, not just so-so, because you see, in the end, your boss won't be satisfied if you're not good, and you will not be satisfied. So, try hard, and after you've tried hard, try harder. Well, let's talk to our guest and see how he came to become a special effect man. But we'll start first with your youth. Where were you born?
I was born in Los Angeles.
But you had no idea of getting into the film industry whatsoever?
Never had an idea to do that.
Not at all.
Not much.
So you were a Boy Scout. What did you learn with a Boy Scout that helped you with what you're doing now, for example?
Well, it taught you to tie knots, do various things, build things, just to be able to think and use your mind and your hands.
Common sense?
And a lot of common sense. Boy, you can't stress more than a lot of common sense. Don't touch that hot stove.
All right. So now you're in school and you love the outdoors. So do you go,
Right.
are you a good student?
I was not a good student in high school at all.
But you went to college.
I went on to college, yes. And I went to Pierce Junior College in Woodland Hills, and I wanted to go into agriculture very much so. So at that point, that was my endeavor. And then I went to Fresno State, and then from Fresno State went to the University of Oklahoma.
So you got a degree in agronomy.
Agronomy, right, yeah, from Fresno State. And it was a lot of hard work. I had to put myself through school. I worked on ranches. I plowed fields from morning to dusk.
And that's after college.
Well, that was during college to
during
put
college.
myself through it. I had to milk cows in the morning, afternoon, and go out and plow the fields again, and set up a lot of hay, just agriculture things. Ranch.
Now, you are going for agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
Well, it just, the Army came in there.
The Army happened.
The Army happened. Uncle Sam wanted me, so I went, and I have no regrets at all about that because it taught me discipline, and the discipline that you need in life, a lot of it. Without the discipline, I see a lot of people that don't have it that are lost.
Now, it also taught you something else, if I remember well our conversation earlier. You learned all about explosives.
Yes, I took EOD training, which is explosives ordnance demolition, and that was a big factor. Although in the Army, as opposed to the motion picture we want to make it as an illusion, not to really destroy buildings or life.
As a matter of fact, I have a picture here which I would love to show, if you can follow me, camera, of
Upside down.
upside down. That's the fault of my director. This is an explosion near the capital of Sacramento.
Yeah, in
Sacramento.
Stone
Correct.
Cold,
Yes.
Brian Bosworth, and it's that chopper is going to fall on those cars, and it's going to create more fire.
Really? Let's see the second, the sequence. Oh, more. There's more engulfed in it. Now, and that never touches the capital, correct?
No, and these trees were very, very much in concern because they stated they did not want those trees scorched. There was a lot of heat at that point right there.
Yes. Okay. I don't want, and the last one, I guess, is the whole.
That's a little closer up.
My God. Can you take this one? Ooh, and where are you? Just down here?
No,
Somewhere close by?
we're in the background over here.
In the background?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Now, I don't want to show these just yet. I want to keep them for later. Okay, so you're in the Army, you learn all about explosive. Now you come out of the Army, what happened to agriculture?
Agriculture was put on a hold to a degree. I tried it, worked in the San Joaquin Valley for a while with it, but it was tied me behind a desk and I just didn't care for it. So I came back from the San Joaquin Valley and I came to San Fernando here and I started shoeing horses. And
how did you learn how to shoe horses?
I learned to shoe horses through my grandfather's brother, who was a blacksmith, and from that I just carried it on through, and I needed a little more money, so I became a machinist. I started in the machinist
Did you, when you were, because you were doing this in the valley, am I correct?
That's correct.
Now, did that open the door for you with some of the stunt people?
Oh, very much so. I've shot a lot of horses for if I could name names, Walter Wyatt and Walter Scott, Billy Burton, Bobby Orson, a lot of big name.
Did they
stunt
tell
people.
you, AJ, why don't you come and work with us? We need somebody like you.
No, never.
They never did?
No, they never did. No, I would ask them about their work or whatever, and no, it was never presented in that vein.
Okay. So then what did you do?
Well, as far as from when I went from there,
yes.
I went into the machinist end of it and went into technical, went to a technical school. In fact, I was apprenticing wax investment wool making, which enabled me, which not enabled, I had to go every Wednesday evening to LA Trade Tech to learn about the tools of the trade, the mills, the lathes, whatever like that, to perform the jobs for the wax investment wool making.
Still no idea that you were going to go
No,
into
I
the
was
film
still lost
industry.
in a way. I was groping for things. Yes, I was very much so. I was 26, 27 at that time, years of age. Yeah.
But you were accumulating a lot of knowledge in different fields.
At the time when I was that young, I didn't realize that the knowledge that you acquire when you're growing up to your young adulthood or whatever can be used later on.
That's the secret. That's what we were talking about
Right.
earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, AJ, now, how did you break in? How did you go to a studio? Why do you go to a studio?
Well, the reason I got into the studios was I needed some money. I had been pushed around by a horse pretty good, and I broke my collarbone. And in the process of it, my uncle had been in the studios since 1952. I asked him, I said, I need some work. I cannot shoe horses because of the broken collarbone that's mending right now, and I don't want to damage that shoulder anymore. At that point, there was an opening, and my uncle got me in, and I was only expecting to stay for maybe a month at the most so I could get enough money to pay the bills.
Now, what job did you start at?
I did start out with special effects. I started out fabricating metal, wood, fiberglass, anything that was available they needed me to do, I would do it. I was just the kick around at that point.
You were an apprentice at the time.
Right,
Yes.
right. Mm-hmm.
Now, you went there, and did you expect glamour on the set? Did you expect to see big movie stars?
Sure, you always have that in the back of your mind, and I did get to work with Olivia de Havilland and Joseph Cotton, a few other names I can't recall right now.
All right, so you go there, and you're supposed to be working for 1 month. What happens then?
Well, I found out that it was just good, hard work, that you really got dirty in this job, and you came in the morning, and you had to be on time. There was no sloughing. It was just like back in the Army in a way. I'm going, wow, the regimentation there was not as severe, but they expected you to be there, and when they told you to do something, they expected your job to be done. And so it was, I kind of liked that. It was challenging in that respect. So I stayed more than a month. Stayed 17 years so far.
17 years. Always at the same studio?
No, no. I never wanted to get tied down because I would only be seeing the same people in my end of it all the time. I wanted to see different people so that I could learn their ways of thinking on certain subjects. So I bounced around. I went from Universal to Warner Brothers, Columbia, Disney, Paramount, MGM, a number of them.
Now, I'm sure the young people out there would like to know, is it a well-paid job?
Yes, it's a well-paid job.
Once you're more than an apprentice?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You can earn quite a bit of money at that point after you've gotten established and created a name for yourself, to, let's say it that way.
Do you have to belong to a union?
Yes, you do. If you're going to work non-union, you don't have to, but it's even ruggeder to be in non-union. I always wanted to be in the union because of the benefits that were...
the health benefits.
Oh, definitely.
Something we talked about.
You can't spend... You'd spend fortune to...
Okay, now, you worked, for example, on Duke of Hazzard's.
Yes.
Okay? You rig the car. How do you do that?
Well, the car itself...
Explain to the young people directly, because they're fascinated.
Well, for 6.5 years, I was just to more or less protect the stunt people that were available to do the jobs. And I put in roll cage after roll cage after roll cage.
Can you explain what a roll cage is?
Well, a roll cage is just a structure of steel tubing that goes around inside the car. So when they do their long jumps, one stuntman went 186 feet from the jump to the landing and landed right on the nose of the car and then bounced about 4 or 5 times, which he would have been crushed if he hadn't had that roll cage in there.
So you build this in the inside of the car?
Oh, very much so. And you try and hide as much as possible, but to our eyes, when we watch the movies or whatever, we can spot them, and so can you too sometimes. But we made fenders come off, and the hoods fly up, and the wheels come off, and just various things.
How do you rig that the wheel is going to come off?
Oh, it's done with a series of ways. You can do it with mechanical trips, or you can do it with hydraulic rams, and most generally it's done with rams. That's easiest.
Now, when you get, let's say you get a job, do you get the script at the same time as the director?
When at first starting out, no, you won't.
But in the position in which you are now?
I will get a script to help facilitate things along, yes.
Now, does the director tell you what he or she wants, and then you go home and figure it out, or do you come up with ideas and go to the director afterwards? How does it work? It
will depend upon the director. It's a seesaw type thing that sometimes you have the ability to tell a director who has not had the experience with filming different things with cars blowing up, explosions, whatever, and you can say to him, you can say, well, this would be the best way to do this. And other times the director will come to you and say, this is what I want to see. I want to be here, here, and here. And then you have to accommodate him.
This is a plane crashing. I don't know if you can get that on camera right now. How much explosive does this require? Do you have to have permission?
Oh, there's many in California and a few other states. You have to have a lot of permits. Regulations are very, very tight. Very, very tight.
Let's see. This one is, ooh.
That's from The Rookie.
That's from The Rookie?
Clint Eastwood.
That's a car on top of a roof. Can you see that? Hanging? The car is hanging.
No, it came out of that window.
Oh, really?
Yes, it did. It really zipped out of there, and that is a fiberglass body put onto a set of wheels, more or less. And we just whipped it out there and blew it up.
Is this a mock-up?
That's
or is
a mock-up.
Regular?
Well, it's an old one.
Can you see this helicopter right here? Because it looks like it's a regular helicopter, chopper, but it looks smaller than a regular one.
No, it's the...
It's a regular...
Yeah, and
Now,
it's just been
are
gutted.
the people inside
Oh,
of
no,
that helicopter?
no, never.
They are
never.
not?
No.
I see.
No, that's been completely gutted, and in fact, the engine is out of it, and we had to put another engine inside of it,
I see.
a little motor to control the blades.
Now, you are working on a show right now called The Invisible Man.
Mm.
And unfortunately, I wanted you to bring some invisible thread.
Mm-hmm.
Like this?
Well, we can do that. This isn't really, it's a good test, but you can see how we can suspend things. Whoa! I lost that one, didn't I?
From a tiny wire.
Right. Uh-huh.
Whoops.
I'm ruining the set.
No, it's okay.
There we go.
Okay, we got it.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's...
In other words, if the camera were to cut his hand from holding this and just showing that block, it would be floating in front of my nose, right? And it looks like it's floating in the air. Can we cut off his arm just in the shot? Just to see this floating out? So is that what you do with typewriters, with hats, with things like this?
This is basics of it. We have to use a lot more wires than just one right here to get the swing and the sway so we can control whatever it does. And that's what we are doing right now on The Invisible Man. Yeah.
What are you trying to rig right now for The Invisible Man?
Right now we have a small desk calculator and a regular cup, coffee cup. And we have to float a hat that Chevy Chase wears, and comes to a mirror, and he can't see his body, but the hat is there. So it has to be pretty rigid when you fly it in, and it's all manipulated by hand.
How can you fly the cup? I can understand up, but sideways also?
Sideways, and we have to make it tip. We have to also make it tip. Because he picks the cup up, and he realizes my hand is gone, and here is this cup. And then he sets it back down again. And it's just done all with a marionette type thing. Like
is that what it is?
Right, like the puppets. Yeah.
Now, sometimes you do the rigging, the improv, and sometimes the camera helps.
Well,
Correct?
that gets into a photographic
Can you
type
explain
effects.
the difference?
Well,
special
it's...
effect with the camera?
Well, the special effects with the camera is where they take frame by frame. And it's done with a computer nowadays. It's... in the old days, it was just done it was painstakingly done.
Yes.
Now they have computers that they can move the object, whatever they want, to any direction they want. And it's a whole different field from what I do. I do mechanical effects and photographic effects. We help them out a lot every once in a while by building fiberglass pieces. In the case of Invisible Man, we have to have fiberglass pieces that are attached to a man that is dressed in blue or black, depending upon the backdrop they're going to use. Yeah.
So you have a blue backdrop, the man is dressed in blue.
And then from there, he has a piece that is attached to his body that has the towel, in this case. Chevy comes out of the shower, and he is completely invisible, but he has a towel wrapped around him. And so by attaching it's a piece of steel rod comes out and attaches to this towel, and wherever this man moves, then it does the movement of the towel. In that case, we do away with wires.
Tricky. It's fascinating.
Oh, it is.
Now, let's go back to my question earlier with the director. Do you come up with the ideas? Or does the director say, I want this, and you, the special effect man, said, well, I would like to deliver this to you, but the safety is first.
Oh, very much so. Safety is number one, and that has to be plotted into everything. As far as, again, the director, if he wants it a certain way, we have to give it to him as best we can. And sometimes between the writers and the directors, what they dream up are very, very tricky to do. So you have to circumvent it in other ways and sell the idea that we have to take that pot that's on the table there and fly it or we have to move it, or we have to blow it up, or whatever.
Okay. It's the 3-minute mark.
Ooh.
You now have 2 minutes to speak directly to the young people, or to the parents, or to the educators.
Well, to the young people, I would say while you're in school, if you think school is rough, you should be on the outside. When you get older, you'll really understand that your school days were probably your best days you had. But to learn a trade, if anybody wants to go into this end that I'm in, I had to start as a carpenter and work my way up, building sets, whatever like that. And then I eventually got into a prop shop, which was another 4 years in that. I took a test and had to go before my peers, and they had to fire questions at me, and I had to, then that's how I got into special effects. From there, I did what I wanted to do. You can go as high as you want to, but learn a trade, learn carpentry, learn to be a machinist, learn welding. Welding is very important in special effects. Electronics is now coming in, and it's a very big field, and a lot of people, as myself, I'm very poor in electronics, so I have to do a lot of reading or ask somebody that knows it. And to the parents, if it can be taught, and to the children too, younger people, common sense. Common sense has a big part in a lot of things. And the ability to think, just to communicate, to know the language, is a very important part of what we have to do, because we have to talk to other people. We have to talk to stunt people. We have to know what they're going to do, and they have to know what we're going to do, especially with pyrotechnics, as to where bullet hits are put or the explosives are. And so anyway, study hard, give it 110%, and stay in school and learn.
I would like to thank AJ for sharing his expertise with us. Thank you. Please keep watching us, because we keep watching out for you. Thank you. Be well. Keep faith. Till next time.
Very good.